Hey guys, thanks for watching the Jerry Rigger channel, the place where you can tell us it can't be done and we'll figure out a way to do it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get started.
Okay guys, so I bought a used camper shell off of Craigslist, or not Craigslist, off Facebook, and it's a Tacoma, meant for a Tacoma, which is good because that's what I have, is a Tacoma. Well, when I went to install it, I noticed that there's a huge gap in the front rail, and I didn't realize it, but there's actually a huge gap all the way around. And the reason for that is I have removed my top caps because I used to have a different camper shell on my top caps. The thing about the plastic caps that go over the top of the side rails for the bed is that they're not sealed. So if you're trying to get a good seal, I thought about putting the caps back on, and then I just have to seal the front. But then I said, well, how am I gonna seal those plastic caps, because they're not sealed, again, like I said. So what I had originally come up with is using some pipe insulation for the front rail, and what I've decided to go ahead and do is use pipe insulation all the way around to seal the whole thing all the way around. I think that'll work good. It'll take up the gap. I think there's probably about a 3/4 inch gap all the way around when I put the cap onto the bed. So I thought I'd share that with everybody in case they're having a similar issue. How do they get the cap to seal when obviously the plastic caps aren't sealed, so that you're not going to get a seal. I'm hoping this will work. I think it's worth a try. If it doesn't, I'll be back to square one, but I thought I'd share it. I went to Home Depot, looked for everything I could think of that would make up that 3/4 inch to an inch gap that I got to fill in. Couldn't really find anything. This, like I say, this pipe insulation seems like it's going to work the best for me. So I am going to cut it at an angle on the front edge so that it, I can get as much as possible the shape of the side of the camper shell, and then I'm going to put the side along the side. I'm going to put it as close to the outside edge as possible, and I think that'll I do have some double-sided tape I'm going to use to hold it in place after I get it down, and hopefully everything will work. All right, thanks. One thing I did want to mention too, as you can see, this pipe insulation has a slit here. This is the kind that you have to actually pull apart. As you see, it doesn't go all the way through. It only goes about halfway through, but if you split it, then it'll go all the way through. I'm putting that towards the inside of the camper shell. See if you can see that a little better. So it's going to be in there like that. So this will be on the outside. One thing I will mention too about this is the cheapest pipe foam you can buy at Lowe's, and I bought this kind because it does not go all the way through as far as that slit goes. So I purposely did buy this kind. But one thing I will tell you is this stuff is not, it won't last forever in sunlight. I'm hoping that because it's in between the rail and the kind of half covered by the cap, and I'm hoping it's not going to get too much sunlight. I know if you put this stuff around like air conditioner pipe, it'll just rot away. So something to keep in mind. I thought about trying to find something to you know, cover it over with, just to keep the sunlight off of it, but in the end I couldn't really find what I was looking for. And you know, this stuff is like $1.79 a piece, so you know, I can always replace it again later if I need to. I mean, for $6 I was able to seal the truck. So. This here is just a window tape kit. Again, I'm not worried about it, you know, exposure to the elements, because it's just there to hold it in place till I get it onto the truck. So, and good luck to see me try and get this thing on the truck myself. You know, it occurs to me this might turn out to be a common. I'm trying to get this thing on, the pipes, insulation, trying to keep it in place. This is going to be hilarious if I don't hurt myself. Could be one of those watch me hurt myself videos. All right, so don't try this at home. One. Two, the bed of my truck is really hot. Something I had not thought about. Wearing shorts, it's a little hot on my knees. Something else I want to mention, this foam is actually holding the truck bed up, or the camper shelf up higher now than it was when I just had the bolts holding it in place before. So that tells me I'm getting a good tight seal. But I'm going to have to push down on the sides to get the bolts into place. I did have to squeeze down the bed rails. I just used a pair of channel locks and I squeezed it down when I tightened down the bolts to get the bolt holes to line up. Of course, your Tacoma may have a different way of bolting it down. This one came with, the guy who I bought the camper shell from had these specially made these clamps. So don't know how yours clamps on, but this is the way mine clamps on. I don't really like the fact that the ARE shell, it covers the top of the these slide clamps. I don't know what you call them, rail clamps. So that makes them pretty much worthless once you put the cap on. I don't use them that much, so I have used them a few times. They come in handy the few times I have used them. But I did want to show you how I cut the pipe. I cut the end of this kind of in a half circular shape. Probably not that way. Probably like that. So when I butted them together, it wasn't just like this. They actually kind of overlapped each other. I did that for the front corner on both sides. And like I say, I used some double-sided tape to stick it on there. I think it's about $5 or $6 for the double-sided tape, and then, like I say, $1.79 a piece for the half-inch foam insulation. But once I set it down, I had to, like I say, I had to press it down to get it to the bolts to line up here to bolt it down. But overall, I'm very happy with how well it's sealed. I don't know how long this pipe foam is going to last. I know if you put it on an air conditioner outside your house, after about 5 or 6 years, it's going to rot away because the sunlight just deteriorates it. But since this is mostly covered, kind of protects it from the sunlight, I think the biggest problem is going to be up here on the front edge. You're going to see a little sunlight coming through there on occasion. That might, but it's not going to be all day long, so it's going to be here and there, hit and miss. And it's probably not even really direct sunlight most of the time. If it does, for maybe 15 minutes as the sun passes over. So I think I'll be all right. And again, it's $1.79, so if I have to replace it again, 5 years from now, hey, big deal, $1.79. But I thought I would kind of go over that, show you what I did. Like I say, I did clamp that down. It did sit up too high, so I did have to. I used some channel locks. I tried using the clamp at first, but the clamp was too big. But then I realized all I had to do was use some channel locks. I had to spread them apart as far as I could and then clamp them down. But it worked really well. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. I don't see it leaking anymore now. But I did want to share that with you. Again, if you had some of this pipe foam that was a little bit, like I said, when you crush this stuff down, it's about 1 inch thick when it's crushed down. And again, I put the split side towards the inside, so it's crushed down like this right now. Another thing to note, when I first put this on here, I didn't have the bed rails, and you can see it wore away at the paint in a couple of spots on the outside, and this is going to help prevent that from happening again. I don't know if the bed rails being on there would have prevented that or not. It may have, maybe not, I don't know. But this foam definitely will prevent that from happening again. So I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Again, like I say, I can't complain. So I just thought I'd share that with everybody in case they're having a similar situation, especially with this, like I said, these Tacomas, because they have that raised bed rails during this year. Mine's a 2012, but they made these same trucks for quite a while. So the newer trucks aren't that much different, but they look like they have a little bit lower more of a permanent plastic rail around the whole top of the bed. So if you're like me and you ran into this situation, I thought I'd share that with you. All right, thanks for watching.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the Jerry Ritter channel, the place where you can tell us it can't be done and we'll figure out a way to do it. Don't forget to like and subscribe.